Hey guys, it's been a while and I've just thought of a quick story time. This isn't my normal setup, but I do think it's important for the premise of this video that I come here without my tripod, lighting, makeup, all of that. You know, I'm not afraid to come on here without makeup and having my skin looking all crazy, but just for this video I thought, let me make a point. We're gonna have a story time and it's about my plastic surgery journey. Just to say, I am not against plastic surgery, as you can tell in this video, and I understand the different reasons behind why people go through plastic surgery, and each to their own. So yeah, let's go ahead with the story time. By the way, baby girl is having a nap right over there, so I've got to be a bit hushed and she might make an appearance in this video. Let's go back to the beginning. I was born 1989, so I grew up in the 90s. And looking back now, especially how the world is today, I've noticed that I grew up in a time where I didn't have much representation of my beauty standard. So growing up in the 90s, a lot of the magazines I read, a lot of the films I watched, TV shows, adverts, everything like that was very white dominated, European features, and it really rubbed off on me. I really wanted straight hair growing up so bad. I've tried everything to get my hair straight, and clearly now it's not an issue for me, but back then it was like the number one thing that I really strived for. Another thing that I wanted to change about myself when I was younger was my nose. I've just never really been a fan of my nose, and just for this video I'll explain why. I'm putting myself on blast here, but I have quite a round nose, like it's not pointy in any way, shape or form. Most of my friends tell me there's nothing wrong with my nose, and there isn't. But for me, it was something I always had a complex about. And I don't actually mind my nose face on. It's more my profile. It's got a hump right here and it hooks down, especially when I smile. It feels like it hooks down towards my lips. Yeah? Yeah, that's basically it. Okay, stop looking. And also a little bit of backstory. My nose has always given me problems. Around 2015, I actually went to the doctors for my snoring. It turns out that I actually have a deviated septum. Everyone has a deviated septum, right? But mine leans slightly to the right, which means this nostril is smaller than this nostril, and the way that the air flows through it, it's not as efficient as it could be. They put a camera down my nose and he said that my nasal passages are quite small, and he linked it to the shape of my nostrils and also allergies that I was experiencing. It was actually so bad, people always will constantly ask me, do you have a cold? And I'm like, no, this is just how I breathe. I am constantly sniffing and snuffling. And it's been like that since I was a child. And he said we have two routes of treatment. We either remove some of the tissue within your nostrils to widen the passage, or we can give you a mouth guard. But he also mentioned that if they do remove some of the tissue from the inside of my nose, it may change the shape of my nose. This procedure is strictly functional, not cosmetic. So however your nose turns out, that's just how it turns out. So it could make my nose wider from swelling. It could make my nostrils slightly collapse in a bit. It could just change the shape of my nose, and I just thought, no, I'm not risking that. So I went down the route of getting a mouth guard. I think I wore that thing like 2-3 times, and basically when I ended up stopping the steroids 2 years later, my snoring actually reduced so much. Anyway, so as I got older, all of these influences that I saw on TV, the media, kind of rubbed off on me. Some of secondary school and most of college I wore coloured contacts. So as you know, I wear glasses, but my mum allowed me to get contacts, and I was being cheeky. I asked for coloured contacts, and that was just another stamp of me not feeling pretty enough and doing all these things to make me feel like to fit in, like a European standard, we'll just say. So by the time I was in uni, I guess I stopped wearing the coloured contacts, but I did start experimenting more with makeup. I wasn't really into makeup like most people, and especially like the younger people are now. They're freaking amazing. I look like a thumb for most of my life. But I started getting into makeup and I started being more deliberate with it in my mid-20s. That means like contouring, wearing the false lashes, and learning how to do eyeshadow and lip liner, all those extra things that just really make you look really polished. The rise of Instagram became very prominent, and depending on how you use Instagram, it can be your best friend, it can be your worst enemy. And I guess I got sucked into that side of Instagram that kind of promoted flawless beauty. I would follow a lot of makeup tips, which is how I got to learn how to contour my nose and kind of shape it the way I wanted to. But with that comes the type of ads for like cosmetic surgery. I came across a post from a dental clinic that also offered cosmetic procedures. Most dentists do this. They don't just work on your teeth, they work on your facial structure as a whole to make your face, your smile, your appearance more pleasing. The ad was for a liquid rhinoplasty. A rhinoplasty is when you go under the knife, they break the bones in your nose, shave bits off, add cartilage here, shape the skin around your nose and everything to give you the desired shape. Very invasive, very expensive, very painful, even your recovery time. You cannot tell what a rhinoplasty will look like until about a year after your surgery. Whereas a liquid rhinoplasty, they can inject this filler in different areas of your nose to disguise any bumps, to level out any unevenness, to create shape, and overall it can even make your nose look smaller, and it can be done in as little as 15 minutes. Your lunch break, like you can go in, come back and nobody will know. You do suffer from a little bit of swelling, but nowhere near like months worth when you have a rhinoplasty. I was sold. So I started going through the whole Instagram. They don't just do liquid rhinoplasty, they do all things like cheek fillers, jawline fillers, Botox in the top lip to relax your lip so you don't have a gummy smile, all these different things that you can get done. This doctor, funnily enough, her name is Dr. Zainab, and I thought, oh, this is a sign. Her work is incredible. Like, honestly, some of the transformations are unbelievable. And it's really inspiring to see that she takes such pride in her work. Just 15 minutes, you can literally transform your face and just walk out so much happier. Like, I respect her hustle, honestly. But I started looking at all these pictures and I thought, my nose, in comparison to some of the cases, I'm not even that bad, so I feel like she could do me justice. Studying all the pictures, I saw that what I would need to correct my nose would be a little bit of filler at the top of my hump, a little bit of filler on the bottom of my hump to disguise it, a little bit of filler in the tip to give it a bit of a point, and a little bit underneath my nose right here to lift the whole nose as well. And it would have been about 400 to 500 pounds. Instead of like 5 grand for a nose job. I was like, I'm gonna do this. So going through my emails, I actually emailed them on the 29th of January to ask for a consultation. The very next day, I phoned back and booked in a consultation for the 27th of March 2020, which was only 8 weeks away. The consultation would have been a discussion about what I want, and then straight after I would have got the filler done. So I was very excited, having a little wait for this appointment to come through, and then of course, towards the end of February 2020, we started hearing news about coronavirus. And I was getting a bit nervous. I was like, oh, well, what's this virus going around? Like, what's it going to mean for us? Little did I know, it was big things, like the whole world shut down. And can you believe it? The week before my appointment, the receptionist called me and said, we're really sorry, but we're going to have to shut down the clinic. And we can still hold your deposit money if you want, or we can give it back to you. And I was so determined that I wanted this. And as most of us thought coronavirus would only last a few weeks, I just said, keep my deposit. The minute you open, I'll be back. I'll be back. Not only did the clinic have to close, my work shut down the office. Everyone had to work from home. Like, it really affected everyone. Then a couple of months after my appointment got cancelled, this was the end of June 2020, the dental practice called me back. And the receptionist said, we're opening back again. Would you like to rebook your appointment? By this time, it had been, what, three months? And I've noticed that it wasn't really on my mind that much. It's probably because of coronavirus. Like, this deadly virus was out in the world, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm really worried about my nose when I should be worried about my health. I was actually getting better at contouring my nose, because obviously during lockdown, people were putting up so many tutorials and videos. I was just following them, and I actually became better. I'm not saying I'm great, but better at contouring my nose, doing my makeup. And to me, it didn't feel like such an issue. So what I told the lady was like, do you know what? I'm going to take my money back. And when I feel like I'm ready to book this appointment, I'll give you another call. And she said, no problem. She gave me back my money. It was weird, but I almost felt like someone was telling me, don't get your nose done. Because when the opportunity came back, it's because I had sat on the idea and I actually thought twice about it, that my body was like, no, you don't need to get this done. You don't. So that was end of June. And then 2 months later, I fell pregnant with Nerea. So I feel like really there was a sign telling me, no, don't get your nose done, don't do this. Regardless of how weird my pregnancy was with all the scares about how small she was, I just feel like if I had got my nose done and then they said she was small, for some reason I would have blamed myself and assumed it was the filler that I put in my nose that had caused everything to go wrong. There was no external factors affecting my body in any way, if that makes sense. I was off the steroids, I obviously wasn't on the pill anymore, I didn't have that filler, and I'm sure filler is completely safe, people get filler all the time, but for me and my anxious mind, I just felt better that I was pregnant without a foreign substance in my body. Exactly 1 year to the day when my appointment with the dental practice got cancelled, I was having a 4D ultrasound to see Nerea's face. And as the sonographer's going around trying to find the good angle, and then her face pops up in black and orange, this beautiful little chubby baby face. And the first thing I can see on her is my nose. And I just thought, oh my gosh, she has my face. This baby is so beautiful to me. How could I ever think that that nose needed to be changed? Oh look, it's Daddy. Hello? You gonna say hi? Say hi! But yeah, this is Nerea, and she's got my nose, as you can tell. Kung ikaw ay masaya pumalakpak, kung ikaw ay masaya pumalakpak, kung ikaw ay masaya, buhay mo ay sisigla, kung ikaw ay masaya pumalakpak. Say goodbye. Say bye. Good girl. When Nerea was born in May, she was literally a spitting image of my mom. She had straight hair, very fair skin, and as she's grown up and grown into her features, if you look at my baby pictures and how she looks like now, we are the same person. Only a few of my friends will know this, but I've had dreams of having a baby, and I dreamt I had a baby girl and she looked just like me, and that's her. That is the baby that I dreamt of. Every time I look at her and I just think she's so beautiful, she's such a gorgeous baby, and I'm like, why can't I think that of myself? Part of me is sad that I wanted to change something about myself, something that I've obviously passed down to my daughter. As much as I didn't like my nose when I was younger, social media really amped up the need for me to want to go out and change it. With all these filters, and I am very conflicted about them, because what I'm noticing is that if you go through some people's feeds, there isn't a single picture of them on there that isn't filtered or photoshopped or altered in any way. If you can't take a photo of yourself without a filter, there's a big disconnect there. Even the subtle filters on Instagram that are just meant to like apply a bit of makeup or make your skin look a bit more flawless, they do change your bone structure. After having my daughter, I am honestly a little bit scared of how she's gonna grow up. I never want her to feel like she needs to look like a filter or this edited version of herself. Just because I'm making a video like this, like, oh, I've accepted my nose and like, kumbaya, it doesn't mean that I'm still not going through things. Like, after having her, my skin was terrible, honestly, and it's taken a long time to crawl out of that dark hole of me feeling like, I feel like a troll under the bridge. But, you know, like, I'm happier these days. Like, I smile, you know. Before, I wasn't smiling. I'm not gonna lie, guys, it was hard. When you're in the worst of it, it's hard to see out of the dark place. I've been there. There were times when I thought I would never get better. Honestly thought that I would never be sitting here in front of the camera able to touch my skin like this. Honestly, months ago. Yesterday I was breastfeeding Nerea and she was just stroking my face like this. And I know months ago that wasn't possible, or I wouldn't let her do that because it would hurt. And now I'm sitting here smiling in front of you guys and just happy. I'm happy for once in a long time. I haven't really posted much on social media, but please don't hesitate to message me on tsw_BeeZeeBuzz or leave a comment down here, and I will get back to all your messages very slowly, but I will get back to them. And yeah, I hope you guys are good, and I hope no one takes offense to this video. Each to their own. This is just a story of how I wanted plastic surgery, almost got it, coronavirus said no, and I finally kind of accepted that I don't need it done. If you've had plastic surgery, leave a comment down below. What was the reason and what did you get done? I will see everyone very, very soon, and have a good day. Bye.